Most men are trying to fix their performance in the bedroom at the exact moment they need it. But what if I told you that the real secret doesn't start in the bedroom at all? It starts quietly at night, alone, in a simple routine that takes less than 10 minutes and can change how your body responds, how your confidence feels, and how your partner experiences you. The truth is that male performance is rarely about just physical strength or raw desire. It is about circulation, nervous system balance, hormonal support, relaxation, and the subtle connection between mind and body that most men completely ignore. And the nighttime oil routine is powerful, not because it is magical, but because it works with biology instead of fighting against it. Throughout history, different cultures have used oils not only for skincare, but for vitality, recovery, and intimate health. Understanding that touch combined with natural oils can stimulate blood flow, calm stress hormones, and create awareness in parts of the body that men usually only think about when something goes wrong. The modern man is overstimulated, stressed, and often disconnected from his own body. And stress is one of the biggest killers of performance because when cortisol is high, testosterone response weakens, circulation tightens, and the body shifts into survival mode rather than pleasure mode. And this is where a structured nighttime oil ritual becomes transformative. Imagine ending your day not by scrolling on your phone, not by collapsing into bed exhausted, but by intentionally slowing down your nervous system, warming a few drops of a high-quality oil in your palms, and using deliberate, mindful touch to signal safety and relaxation to your body. Oils like cold-pressed coconut oil, almond oil, or even specially formulated herbal blends have properties that nourish the skin and support circulation. But the deeper impact comes from the ritual itself, because when you massage slowly with consistent pressure, you increase local blood flow, you awaken nerve endings, and you train your body to associate touch with calm rather than pressure to perform. Many men unknowingly condition themselves to experience arousal only under stress or urgency, which creates a cycle of performance anxiety. But this routine gently rewires that pattern by teaching your body that intimacy begins with relaxation, not tension. The key is warmth and patience, warming the oil slightly between your hands so it feels inviting rather than shocking, then using slow strokes and circular motions to stimulate blood vessels without rushing toward climax, because this is not about release, it is about restoration and strengthening the mind-body connection. As you massage, your breathing matters just as much as your hands. Slow, deep breaths through the nose, long controlled exhales through the mouth, signaling to the parasympathetic nervous system that it is safe to relax. And when the body relaxes, blood flow improves naturally, erections become stronger over time, and sensitivity becomes more balanced. This routine also helps men become more aware of tension stored in the pelvic floor muscles, which are often chronically tight due to stress and sitting for long hours. And gentle massage combined with conscious breathing can reduce that tension, supporting stronger control and endurance. Over days and weeks, the skin becomes healthier, more elastic, and more responsive. But more importantly, the mind becomes calmer, because performance is deeply psychological, and confidence grows when a man feels in control of his body rather than at the mercy of it. There is also a hormonal component that most men overlook. Quality sleep directly affects testosterone production, and this routine, when done before bed, helps transition the body into deeper rest by lowering stress and improving relaxation, which indirectly supports healthier hormone levels, and healthier hormones translate into better desire, better stamina, and more reliable performance. The oil becomes a trigger, a signal that the day is ending and recovery is beginning, and over time your brain begins associating that scent, that texture, that sensation with calm strength and masculine vitality. Some men worry that focusing on themselves in this way feels indulgent, but in reality it is the opposite, because when you take responsibility for your physical and emotional regulation, you show up more present, more grounded, and more attentive with your partner. Women often respond not just to physical performance, but to emotional steadiness, to a man who is not frantic or anxious. And this routine builds that steadiness quietly in the background. It also increases body awareness, helping you recognize subtle changes in sensitivity, allowing you to develop better control during intimacy because you are no longer disconnected from your own responses. Consistency is more important than intensity. A few minutes every night will do more than an aggressive session once a week because the body adapts through repetition, strengthening blood vessel responsiveness and neural pathways gradually. Think of it as training, but instead of lifting heavy weights, you are training circulation, nerve sensitivity, and relaxation under stimulation, and that combination is powerful. The environment matters as well. Dim lighting, minimal distractions, perhaps soft music or silence, making the routine intentional rather than rushed, because intention creates psychological weight, and psychological weight influences arousal patterns more than most men realize. Over time, you may notice that morning erections become more consistent, that arousal happens more easily without mental forcing, that endurance improves because you are less reactive and more controlled, and that your overall sense of masculine vitality increases. None of this requires extreme effort, expensive medication, or risky shortcuts. It requires patience, awareness, and commitment to your own well-being. The nighttime oil routine is not about vanity. It is about ownership of your body and your energy. And when a man takes ownership in private, he shows up differently in public and in intimacy. There is something profoundly powerful about ending each day with deliberate self-care that is directly connected to your masculine core, because it shifts your identity from someone hoping to perform well to someone who is actively building performance capacity daily. And perhaps the most underestimated benefit is confidence, the quiet knowledge that you are investing in yourself, that you are strengthening circulation, calming your nervous system, and building endurance without desperation. And confidence is deeply attractive because it removes neediness and replaces it with grounded presence. This is only the beginning of understanding how this simple nighttime ritual can reshape not just performance, but the entire experience of intimacy from anticipation to afterglow. And in the next part, we will go deeper into the specific techniques, timing, common mistakes, and how to integrate this routine into a broader lifestyle that amplifies its effects. The difference between a routine that truly transforms your performance and one that becomes just another forgotten habit lies in precision, intention, and understanding exactly what you are doing and why you are doing it. Because when you approach this ritual with clarity, it becomes a system rather than a random act of self-touch. The first layer to deepen is preparation, because how you begin determines how your body responds. Start at the same time each night whenever possible, ideally 30 to 45 minutes before sleep. After a warm shower, when your blood vessels are already slightly dilated and your muscles are relaxed. Warm water increases circulation and opens the pores, allowing oil to absorb more effectively while also priming your nervous system for recovery rather than stimulation. Once you step out, dry yourself gently, but do not rush, because rushing sends a subtle signal of urgency to your brain, and urgency is the opposite of the calm state that supports strong, controlled arousal. Place a small amount of oil in your palms and rub your hands together slowly until the oil feels comfortably warm. Then pause for a few seconds before you begin. That pause is powerful because it shifts you from autopilot into awareness. And awareness is what turns this from a mechanical act into a physiological upgrade. Begin with slow strokes that move upward toward the body rather than downward, because upward motion supports venous return and encourages circulation, and use moderate pressure rather than light, ticklish contact or aggressive squeezing. The goal is stimulation without overstimulation, activation without climax. Because this routine is about building capacity, not chasing immediate release. Many men make the mistake of turning the routine into a quick pathway to orgasm, which trains the body for speed and urgency rather than endurance and control. And over time, that pattern weakens stamina rather than strengthening it. Instead, focus on steady rhythm, controlled breathing, and observing sensation without reacting to it. When arousal begins to rise, slow your movements even more, deepen your breathing, and consciously relax the pelvic floor muscles rather than tightening them, because control comes from relaxation under stimulation, not from force. If you feel yourself approaching climax, pause completely, place your hands flat against your lower abdomen, and take several slow breaths until your arousal decreases slightly, then resume at a slower pace. This method trains your nervous system to tolerate higher levels of stimulation without tipping into involuntary release, gradually expanding your endurance and responsiveness. Over weeks, you will likely notice that sensitivity becomes more refined rather than dulled, because you are teaching your body to differentiate between pleasure and urgency. Another crucial aspect is posture, which most men ignore entirely. Instead of slouching or lying awkwardly, sit or stand upright with your spine aligned, shoulders relaxed, and chest open, because posture influences blood flow and hormonal signaling. An upright posture subtly increases testosterone and reduces stress signaling, reinforcing the psychological element of confidence and control. Incorporate gentle pelvic tilts or slow, controlled contractions and releases of the pelvic floor muscles during the massage, not as forceful exercises, but as mindful engagement, building strength and awareness simultaneously. This integrated approach turns a simple oil application into a neuromuscular training session that enhances both erection quality and ejaculatory control. The oil itself can be adjusted based on your needs. Coconut oil provides smooth glide and mild antimicrobial properties. Almond oil offers vitamin support and skin nourishment, while certain herbal blends containing ingredients traditionally used for circulation can add warmth and stimulation, but remember that no oil is a miracle solution by itself. The magic lies in repetition, breath control, and the psychological shift from performance pressure to self-mastery. You also want to be mindful of frequency. Nightly practice is ideal for building consistent neural adaptation, but if your schedule is demanding, at least 4 to 5 nights per week will still produce noticeable benefits over time. Avoid performing the routine immediately after heavy meals or alcohol consumption, because digestion and alcohol both redirect blood flow and impair hormonal balance, reducing the effectiveness of your efforts. The deeper purpose of this practice is to recalibrate your relationship with arousal. Many men only engage with their sexual energy when it demands attention, often through sudden desire or external triggers. But this ritual invites you to engage with that energy intentionally, calmly, and proactively. That shift alone reduces anxiety dramatically, because anxiety often stems from unpredictability. And when you train your body consistently, unpredictability decreases. You begin to trust your responses. Trust leads to confidence, and confidence alters how you move, speak, and initiate intimacy. There are also common mistakes that quietly sabotage results. Rushing through the routine, using too much pressure, skipping breathing control, and allowing distractions such as television or phone notifications all weaken the neurological impact. This time must be protected, treated almost like meditation, because the mind is being conditioned just as much as the body. Another mistake is expecting immediate dramatic changes within days. Circulatory and neural improvements happen gradually, and impatience can create frustration, which ironically reintroduces stress into the equation. Think in terms of weeks and months, not days, and measure progress by subtle improvements such as stronger morning erections, greater control during intimacy, and increased sensitivity without hypersensitivity. Over time, you may notice that your overall desire feels more stable rather than fluctuating wildly, because hormonal balance and nervous system regulation are improving in the background. Pairing this routine with supportive lifestyle habits amplifies the effect. Strength training increases testosterone, cardiovascular exercise improves circulation, hydration supports blood volume, and adequate sleep reinforces hormonal production, all working together with your nightly ritual to create a powerful compound effect. Even your mindset throughout the day influences results. If you carry stress constantly, the routine must work harder to reverse it each night. But if you consciously manage stress through movement, sunlight exposure, and occasional digital detox, your body remains in a more responsive state overall. Perhaps the most transformative shift comes when you realize that this practice is not about fixing something broken, but about upgrading something already functional. That subtle reframe changes your internal dialogue from insecurity to empowerment. You are not trying to solve a crisis, you are building capacity. You are not desperate for improvement, you are committed to mastery. That psychological identity shift feeds directly into how your partner experiences you. When intimacy begins, you are calmer, more present, less hurried, and more responsive to her cues, because you have already trained yourself to stay relaxed under stimulation. She feels the difference, even if she cannot articulate it, because energy shifts before words do. And as this routine becomes part of your life, it stops feeling like an effort and starts feeling like a ritual of strength, a quiet investment in your vitality that accumulates benefits over time. In the final part, we will explore how this routine impacts emotional intimacy, how to transition its benefits directly into partnered experiences, and how to sustain long-term performance without burnout or dependency. When you commit to this nighttime oil routine consistently, something deeper begins to shift beyond stronger erections or improved endurance, and that shift is emotional presence. Because sexual performance is never just mechanical, it is relational, energetic, and psychological. A man who feels regulated in his own body carries himself differently when he steps into intimacy. His touch is slower, his breathing steadier, his mind less scattered. He is not secretly monitoring himself or worrying about how long he will last. He is actually there. And presence is one of the most powerful aphrodisiacs in any relationship. The quiet discipline you build alone at night translates into a grounded confidence that your partner can feel the moment you hold her, because you are no longer approaching intimacy from a place of urgency or fear, but from calm strength. This is where the real transformation happens. Over time, your body begins associating arousal with control and relaxation, rather than tension and pressure. That means when foreplay begins, you are not racing internally toward an outcome. You are able to savor the pace, respond to her signals, adjust your rhythm, and maintain awareness of your own sensations without being hijacked by them. The breathing patterns you practice during your routine naturally reappear during intimacy, helping you regulate excitement instead of being overwhelmed by it. Your pelvic awareness allows you to subtly modulate stimulation, easing back when necessary, leaning in when appropriate, and maintaining a steady, confident tempo. This control does not feel forced or mechanical. It feels fluid, it feels natural, and that natural control creates safety. Emotional safety is deeply connected to sexual satisfaction for women. When she senses that you are relaxed, attentive, and not anxiously chasing release, her body relaxes too. Her responsiveness increases because tension is no longer dominating the space. The calm energy you cultivated privately becomes shared energy. Intimacy becomes collaborative rather than performance-based. Instead of thinking about how long you can last, you begin focusing on connection, eye contact, synchronized breathing, subtle changes in her body language. Ironically, when you stop obsessing over performance and invest in preparation and presence, performance improves on its own. Another profound effect of this routine is sustainability. Many men burn out because they rely on stimulation spikes, fantasy overload, or external validation to fuel desire. That approach is exhausting and unstable. The nightly ritual builds a steady baseline of vitality. Your desire becomes more consistent, less dependent on novelty, and more rooted in physical readiness. You are no longer swinging between extremes of high urgency and low motivation. Instead, your sexual energy becomes something you manage intentionally, like strength or endurance. This stability also reduces the likelihood of performance anxiety creeping back in, because you have evidence, through weeks and months of discipline, that your body responds reliably. Confidence built through repetition is far stronger than confidence built through hope. There is also a deeper psychological layer that emerges over time. When you dedicate a few minutes each night to strengthening your masculine core, you reinforce self-respect. You send yourself the message that your vitality matters, that your capacity matters, that your role in intimacy is something you actively nurture rather than passively hope for. That internal respect subtly reshapes how you carry yourself outside the bedroom as well. You speak more steadily, you move with more certainty, you feel less reactive in stressful situations because you have trained your nervous system daily to downshift into calm. Sexual mastery and emotional regulation are closely connected, and this routine strengthens both simultaneously. To sustain these benefits long-term, it is important to periodically reflect on your progress rather than turning the ritual into mindless repetition. Notice improvements in sensitivity, control, confidence, and emotional steadiness. Adjust pressure or duration slightly as your awareness grows. Continue pairing the routine with supportive habits such as movement, strength training, proper hydration, and adequate sleep because all of these factors compound each other. Avoid falling into extremes. This practice is about balance, not obsession. If you ever miss a night, simply resume the next day without guilt. Consistency over months matters more than perfection over days. Eventually, the oil itself becomes symbolic. It represents intentionality, it represents care, it represents ownership of your energy, and that symbolism carries into your relationship. When intimacy unfolds, you are not scrambling for performance. You are expressing preparation, you are embodying control, you are sharing presence. In the beginning, this routine may have seemed like a small physical adjustment, but over time, it reveals itself as a complete shift in how you approach masculinity, connection, and pleasure. You move from reacting to your body to leading it. You move from hoping for stamina to building it. You move from anxiety to assurance. And that transformation is felt not only in stronger performance, but in deeper emotional closeness. Because when a man feels grounded within himself, he creates space for deeper trust, more vulnerability, and more authentic intimacy with his partner. The nighttime oil routine is simple on the surface, yet profound in its impact. It aligns your nervous system, supports circulation, reinforces hormonal health through better sleep, trains control, and cultivates presence. It turns 10 quiet minutes into a long-term investment in strength and connection. And when practiced consistently, patiently, and intentionally, it does more than boost performance. It elevates the entire experience of intimacy, transforming it from something pressured and unpredictable into something confident, steady, and deeply satisfying for both you and the woman you share it with.